Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. This is Reservations, and I'm Rain Wayland.
And I'm Frederick Blumenfeld.
Everyone seemed to like Miriam Featherbottom.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good one, right?
Yeah, I was telling Mom about it when she was in town, and she was like, what's wrong with him? It's like, I don't know. But Miriam Featherbottom's good.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good one. It was a good one.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, everyone. It's been a week.
Yeah.
Jeremy went camping, as you can see. You're a little bit more tan than usual.
I am more tanned, yeah.
So before we jump into everything, let's just get this out of the way now.
Yeah.
We'll have to take another week off.
It's going to be another week. Okay, I'm going camping again. Hold on. Wait.
You can already hear the comments.
Stop. My fiance and her family go camping every year on these two holidays. Father's Day weekend and July 4th weekend. So there's no getting out of that. So, I mean, they'll go camping, sparsely every now and then, and, dates change and all that. Those two never change. Those are the weekends they go. So I may try to take stuff with me and just test to see.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, man, we'll take another week.
Because I've seen that movie before, so it's not going to be a huge deal.
Yeah.
So either way, if not,
we'll take another week.
Whatever, but hopefully we don't have to because the season's already long. So
yeah, season's already long, and having to delay episodes is going to make it even longer.
I know. So we'll try.
We're going to do this. We're going to finish season 7 at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Instead of getting ready to start season 8.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
it's fine.
But just wanted to get that out of the way now. Before we got too deep into the episode, and they're like, "Oh, hey, by the way."
And I do believe that if you haven't watched the movie yet, I believe it's on HBO Max.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Still on HBO Max. Go check it out, or buy the Criterion.
Yeah. Ball out and buy the Criterion.
Do what you gotta do, and then come back and listen. So.
Yeah. But until that time, so welcome back. Since it's been a while, today we are talking about Akira Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. Dude, I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
Just 3.5 hours of just pure awesomeness. Great storytelling, great cinematography.
I agree.
So, this is the first time we are reversed. I have seen this movie before you.
Yeah.
So I guess I will ask you the question you usually ask me. What did you think first time viewing?
First time viewing, I was worried about the runtime.
Yeah,
it's
dense.
It's an intimidating runtime, 3.5 hours. I think The Irishman was also 3.5, so it's like I've done it before, right?
Yeah, and don't you also want to watch The Human Condition? That's like 9 hours.
9 hours. I do want to see The Human Condition. It's 9 hours. But I was thoroughly impressed by just, number one, how entertaining it was.
Yeah.
I love the ideas of we have a problem, we have to set up to solve the problem, and then we solve the problem, right? And that's sort of what this is, right?
Yeah.
It's Ocean's 11, basically. We're gonna rob this casino. Let's gather up some people, right?
Yeah.
One at a time. And then we'll go rob the casino, right? And this is kind of that, right? And again, surprising, 1954, I was surprised by how entertaining it was. And how this is probably like the first of its kind, but then this formula is being repeated over and over again.
Yeah, to anyone out there who's seen, of course, the 1960s, the Magnificent Seven, or the 2016 remake, or, as I recently learned, A Bug's Life. A Bug's Life uses this formula. Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. Pixar used this formula for their second ever fully animated feature.
You're blowing my mind because you're exactly right. Because the grasshoppers come in, right?
Steal the food.
Right. And they're like, we got to get some people up in here to help us out with this.
Some mighty warriors, yeah.
And then they get those mighty warriors.
I'm 90% certain there's 7 of them, too.
Holy shit.
I'm going to have to rewatch A Bug's Life.
A Bug's Life is 7 Samurai.
All right, we're not talking about Seven Samurai, right?
Oh my God. All right. I'm going to go home. I'm going to watch A Bug's Life. And I'm going to be like, that's it.
Like, oh my God. Yeah. Shout out to A Bug's Life.
Oh my God. Okay. So anyway, I have to pull it up because I'm not going to remember anybody's names.
I meant to write them down, but I was just too engaged because I love this movie. And again, like I said the week before last, big Star Wars fan over here, and Kurosawa was such a big influence on George Lucas, and in terms of storytelling, of course, now that we've got The Mandalorian, in terms of visuals, shout out to season 2. I want to say it's the episode Dave Filoni directed with Ahsoka. Mm. That was very heavily influenced by Akira Kurosawa. And so just learning that, I was like, I've got to see this movie, this movie about Seven Samurai. And of course, another big influence that this movie has had on the, I guess, entertainment industry, Samurai Jack also, he's a lone samurai, but...
I watched a couple episodes last night of Samurai Jack. That's not a joke. It's amazing you brought it up because... Yeah.
There is one episode that's directly referencing Lone Wolf and Cub, but...
Haley's out of town, and so I got to watch Samurai Jack.
Oh, wait, I just remembered. Before we go on, the set looks a little different now. We rearranged again.
Wow, you're just going to stop?
I know.
Jesus
Sorry.
Christ.
Okay, anyway,
right.
Back to the movie.
So, they had a few familiar faces.
Yes, shout out to our Rashomon episode.
Yes, so Tashiro Mifune, who plays Kikuchio. Oh, that's not right. Kikuchio. Yes, it is. He's the guy with the fucking big ass sword.
He plays our thief in Rashomon.
Yes, he plays a thief in Rashomon. He's also in High and Low. He is in The Bad Sleep Well. He's in a ton of these, right? Also, Takashi Shimura, who will be in our later episode this season, Ikiru. Mm-hmm. He is also in High and Low. Also, I believe, in Rashomon, maybe? Maybe not.
I don't think he is.
But we also had the gentleman who played the priest in Rashomon, who is helping to tell the story, right in the rain under the
Rashomon.
Under the Rashomon.
That's the name of the movie.
That's the name of the movie. He's also in it. I'm tired of saying these people's names wrong. But I love these guys.
Yes.
Right?
I love that Akira, just like Quentin Tarantino, reuses actors.
Yeah. And of course, in the case of Tashiro, is incredible. Like I think every time he's on screen, he has such a commanding presence. I read that he would watch footage of lions walking, and you can tell by his performance because he would raise his shoulders, lower his head, and he would be constantly moving. Right, he's constantly pacing and circling, and as an intimidation tactic. Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So okay. So for those of you who haven't seen A Bug's Life or The Magnificent Seven, here's a quick little synopsis. This farming village has been raided by bandits once before, and one of the villagers overhears that they're going to be back because since they've raided it, they're like, well, there's no point in raiding it. We'll come back when the harvest has happened. Yeah. They overhear this, and they decide we're going to go into the nearest city, and we're going to hire samurai to protect us. Because during this time of civil war in Japan, Ronin, samurais without a master, were everywhere. Essentially mercenaries, and they managed to find one, which then he promises, I can find you 6 more. And they have their 7 samurai.
Yeah.
And the rest of the movie plays out the 7 samurai training the villagers, setting up guards and traps, while also simultaneously dealing with a lot of, internal, not necessarily politics, but, internal conflicts within the village and amongst themselves.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of struggle within the village, of course, because it's so downtrodden and it's been victimized. So not only is their village falling apart, but the people are also falling apart. And so having to pick up those pieces as well. Speaking of Star Wars, there is a Mandalorian episode just like this. Where
when we meet Cara Dune.
That's right. And they go into the village and they train the villagers and they get blah blah blah. So this is like a staple of storytelling. In this type of story.
Yeah. Anyway, so while simultaneously trying to arm the villagers, they are dealing with internal conflicts amongst the samurai, amongst the villagers. But they need to overcome that to face off the bandits, which they do. Right. And it's a 3-day
siege, I believe it is 3 days.
Pretty much. Mm-hmm. And spoiler alert, they come out on top and defeat the bandits, but at heavy losses. Only 3 of the 7 samurai survive. The movie has a cathartic ending, but not necessarily a happy ending.
Right, but not really. And of course, that's stated by one of the last lines.
Yeah, Goosebumps walk away.
Yeah, Goosebumps walk away.
This victory is for the peasants, not us.
Right.
Which is said by Kombei, which is
Takashi.
Yes,
Takashi Shimura.
Who is the I'd say self-appointed leader.
I would say he is absolutely the leader
of the 7.
On the flag, future reign. Do you mind?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the flag,
I don't know why I'm answering. He should be.
I was expecting him to be the triangle, and of course it's
the triangle is our.
It's Kikuchi Chiyo. Here, you can read it.
Let me try this. Kikuchiro. Chiyo.
Kikuchiyo, right?
Yeah.
Kikuchiyo.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's the triangle.
Yeah, he's because he's a wild card and technically not a samurai.
No. He is. And he considers himself a samurai. Of course. But
he is by far my favorite of the 7.
Because he's definitely one of the more relatable of the 7.
Yeah, well, and of course he has this sort of connection with them, with the village, because he grew up as a farmer. Mm-hmm. And when he rescues that child, well, he didn't, but she handed him the baby. Anyway, from that burning shack, this is what happened to him, he says. Yeah. And so this is what got him out of that farming village and into the life of whatever the hell he's doing now. Yeah. Right? Not really being a samurai, but pretending to be so.
Yeah. Yeah, so, okay. So let's talk about the 7.
Sure.
So starting with Kombei, who is the leader. He is a war-weary samurai. He's lived through war. He's fought in wars. He's older. He's wiser. And what an intro.
I know.
When we meet him.
Killer intro.
He was just walking down the street. People ran up to him, asked for help, and he immediately agreed. And already had a plan because a bandit a thief had taken a child hostage and was on edge and pretty much said if anyone tried to attack, he would kill the child. And very calmly, he has a monk shave his head, and he impersonates a monk to gain this thief's trust and take him out and save the kid.
So good.
And he does it just like that.
Yeah.
And that establishes very early on that Kombei is, even though he is older, he is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, very capable and a strategic samurai, right?
Yes.
So when later on it comes to figuring out logistics and how to defeat the bandits, he's got it. You know? Yeah. He has that sort of mindset, and I think it does have to do with being in war, being in battle, right? For however many years he's been in.
Yeah, and he And it's so funny that you said that the actor watched footage of lions, because Kanbei, threads that line between, very sweet and sincere.
Well, Kanbei didn't. The other guy did.
I'm not going to even try to say his name anymore.
We'll just say Toshiro. Toshiro watched footage.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, I watched.
Yeah. So Kanbei, but still threads that line between sweet and sincere and ferocious.
Yeah.
Which is just makes for a very compelling character and leader.
I agree. And the gathering of the rest of them, right? The rest of the samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Once the villagers track it or follow him basically. And
they're pretty much like should we talk to him?
Now what's amazing is that the kid samurai, the young guy.
Yeah.
The young samurai, I don't remember.
Because Cat. We'll just say Cat, because I know the first.
Your brain's incredible for remembering that. It was interesting that he saw in
Kanbei.
He saw in Kanbei not only a leader but a mentor, right?
Yes.
And so he immediately gravitated towards him and asked for mentorship and advice and all that and training basically.
Yes.
And I like that. We're establishing that relationship and also establishing, hey, we might get a 2-for-1 in this deal with the farmers.
Yeah.
Because once they ask, that guy's not going to leave Kanbei's side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it took me a while to realize that he was going to be a part of it, the kid. Because I'm like, but he's so young. You know what I mean? He's such a kid.
Yeah, and he's inexperienced.
Yeah.
And he's really new to being a samurai.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I always kept forgetting. I was like, well, they got the 6. It's right there. Yeah.
And just like in our Rashomon episode, I want to mention the period accurate hair.
Yeah.
So because in our Rashomon episode, the princess, right, or the woman didn't have eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
And these men are shaving, almost like if they're Catholics out there. St. Francis of Assisi, that type of monk.
Oh yeah.
Style where it's just the top part is gone, right?
Mm-hmm, but they still have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Odd. Now I did notice that.
I think it's to keep their head cool when they're out farming.
Maybe.
I think.
But the samurai also had them, but which is very odd.
Well, and the kid, he has kind of the similar, but it's just here, but he's got hair here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure there's a meaning behind it.
I'm sure,
I would assume,
obviously, yeah.
I would assume the farmers do it to maybe keep their head cool.
Maybe.
But yeah, but I love how Kanbei, he's a little hesitant at first to help the farmers, but he's like, you know what? Okay, I'll help.
And it wasn't the first person they asked. They asked others, and they were like, absolutely not. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it's because they don't have anything to offer samurai, these samurais. But I think what finally makes Kanbei agree is those just asshole, I don't know what they are, street
toughs.
Street toughs, because they mock the farmers because the farmers can't eat. They eat a thing called millet, which is what the subtitle says, which I assume is probably just whatever they can find. That they don't actually eat the rice that they're growing, and it finally makes Kanbei like, all right, I'm gonna help. And as he puts it, I'm not gonna let this rice go to waste.
Yeah,
because they're telling him we can only pay you in rice, and so he decides, all right, I'm gonna help y'all find samurai, because he knows what to look for in a good, trustworthy samurai.
Yeah.
And I just love that he has the kid testing samurai that come into the
shed?
Sure. By having him hide behind the archway and try to hit them with the stick.
Yeah.
The first one they try it on, it doesn't go over too well.
No.
He feels very insulted by that, but also is like, why would I help these farmers? Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
I like the second guy. The
Yeah.
second guy doesn't even make it in. He goes, "For real, guys?"
Yeah, because he immediately knows, like, hey, wait a minute. Something's up here.
Yeah, maybe he saw a shadow or, like, sensed it somehow, but he's like, come on.
Yeah. And I think it's revealed later on, if I remember, even though I just watched the movie today, that Kanbei and the second one know each other.
Yeah.
And Kanbei kind of makes him his second in command.
Yeah.
Spoilers. That guy doesn't make it.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but then, it almost starts to kind of snowball after this. Because then once they find their second samurai, then they find their third in this really stone-faced samurai who warns the guy he's dueling, no, like, we're not going to duel swords. Because if we duel swords, you'd be dead.
Yeah.
And...
he's the one that ends up stealing that musket. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. That guy was badass.
But he doesn't want to fight with it.
No, he just needed it away from them.
Yeah. Then they find one of the other guys who survives. I guess they find him fishing. Like, he's just fishing, and Kanbei just happens to find him. And then they find the wood chopper. Because Kanbei's second in command finds him. And then, just by pure happenstance, Toshio finds them.
Yeah.
After he, of course, tries to offer up his services at the same time the farmers are asking Kanbei. So they kind of begrudgingly agree to take...
Yeah, he's sort of the wild card.
They're like...
And dude, his sword is as big as he is.
I know.
It's so big.
And I love that they don't explain that. I want to say that his sword, it's not used for traditional combat because it's so big.
Yeah, it's gigantic.
It's more for, I think, like, ranged attack, like, because it's so long and so big that you don't have to fight up and close, but he fights close with it, which isn't really smart.
No.
But yeah, and I love that the story. So once we have our 7, and they all kind of agree that they're gonna let Toshio come with them, which I love that he just follows them back, and they're kind of like, okay, yeah. It's just, I don't know, like, I just love how the story is paced.
Right, yeah. And what's interesting is on the villager side, one of them goes back to tell everybody what's going on. Right?
Well, because 4 of them go to the city, and then two go back, and then 2 stay.
Telling him, here's what's going on. But then he goes to find his daughter, and so Mansu, yeah, you guys as good as mine.
I'm gonna say it's Mansu. I don't like that guy. Out of all the villagers, I don't like him.
Yeah, he kind of sucks.
He sucks because he just puts everything. He puts everything and everyone at risk. So with his daughter,
and it makes sense to a certain extent because everyone was a little worried about having samurai there, right?
Yeah,
it's almost like having like soldiers stay in your house, right? Which used to be a thing.
Yeah.
And so they're a little worried about it. They're like, these are strangers, and they're violent strangers, right?
Yeah.
These guys are, they're unpredictable. We don't know what's going on, right? And so he takes this a little further, and he grabs his daughter and cuts her hair and makes her wear men's clothes so they don't rape her.
Yeah, they think she's a boy. Yeah. Even though the village elder assures him that won't happen.
Yeah.
But
by the way, that doesn't work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she doesn't get...
No, she doesn't get raped, but I mean, she doesn't, yeah.
But her disguise is...
She don't stay away from the strange. I mean, the dude still gets it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though she's dressed like a dude. Didn't work, sir.
So, essentially, it was unnecessary for him to...
Of course.
Well, because then, it's a whole public spectacle because he chases her through the home, and then because she's like,
course.
no, like, I'm not going to let you just chop my hair off.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy.
I don't like that guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the samurai. Okay, so let's talk about the villagers.
Okay.
Because that's a good segue to lead from Monzo, who, yeah, fuck that dude.
Who sucks?
Who sucks. To kind of talk about the rest of the villagers. Because the rest of the villagers, yeah, they're a little apprehensive, but Rikichi, he really is kind of like the inspiring force. Like, hey, like we can't beg the bandits not to take anything, because that's not going to work.
Yeah.
We need help. And as we learn later on, he has good reason to know that the bandits won't respond well to begging. Mm-hmm. Because his wife was taken by the bandits.
Yeah.
But he also, and this is where kind of talking about the internal conflict going on in the village. He indirectly causes one of the deaths of the samurai very early on, before, truthfully, the battle really even begins.
Yeah.
They're one man down before the bandits actually attack.
Yeah.
And it's just because these villagers, like you said, they're already so broken that it's kind of like they have like a go for broke mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, let's just go all in. And then when they see the kind of like the outcome, they're like, oh, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Especially with, I'm not going to try to say his name again, that guy. Especially when he causes the death of one of the samurai, he realizes like, oh, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just because, these villagers have literally nothing. Like, they're barely scraping by.
Yeah.
All they have is the harvest. And it makes sense, and of course we've seen this trope before, farmers becoming very desperate, or villagers being very desperate. Shout out to Rango, because we see that happen in Rango when the water's all gone. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of another sort of...
A little bit, sure.
A little bit. Seriously? Okay, hang on. Thanks to John Sturges, whoever directed the original Magnificent Seven, Westerns have adopted this trope.
Yeah.
Of the hero, and then the villagers being desperate for a hero,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out, because when that director remade Seven Samurai, which I learned in the U.S. it was marketed as The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, interesting.
And he really liked that title. He turned it into a Western.
A Western, yeah.
Because those were
makes perfect
popular in the 60s.
Well, yeah.
But anyway.
Samurai are cowboys.
Yeah.
They are the equivalent, right?
Yeah. Again, if you need more evidence of that, watch The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
But, okay. So we've kind of talked about, the village and their struggle. So let's kind of talk about, let's go back to the samurai. Let's talk about the internal conflict amongst themselves. Mm-hmm. Because even though they know kind of what they're getting into, a lot of them are still, I don't want to say struggling with their own demons per se. I think it's just mainly they're reacting to how the others are reacting to certain things. Especially Toshio, who, as you said, he grew up a farmer. He's not really a samurai, so he's the most, as I said, he's the most relatable, because especially when he comes with all of that armor.
Right.
And they're offended by that.
Right.
And that's such a great monologue.
Yeah.
Because I think he finally makes them understand where the villagers are coming from.
Yeah.
If you ever ask a farmer, do you have any rice? They'll always say they're out. He's like, but they have it. Trust me, they have it. And he's like, you got to look under the floorboards or the barn. They've got it.
Yeah.
And he's like, but thanks to men like you, as the rest of the samurai, that's why they feel this way, is that they have to hide everything because y'all come in and burn down their homes and rape their women and kill them if they,
Yeah.
And it's finally this kind of understanding, because I think the samurai understand where the villagers are coming from, but I don't think they fully understood it until Toshio pretty much bluntly told them, y'all are the reason why they're so untrustworthy, or they do not trust easily.
Right.
I mean, or am I reaching here?
No, you're not. You're right. The monologue is phenomenal, and if you'll notice, he's always moving. He's not. Yeah, he's circling and moving and whatever. And you're right. I think that he's just trying to get them to realize what they've signed up for, right, and who these people are.
Yeah, because I definitely think he knows he wants to help, but it's like, you guys have to know who you're helping. And
he has a unique perspective, right? Being a farmer.
Growing up a farmer, growing up probably having his village burned down, and having to survive on his own, and and I think Kombe really, more than anyone, I think he got it from the get-go, but I think he especially is like, all right, I get it now.
Yeah.
And he kind of knows how to rally the other samurai. Oh, man. And then, okay. What do we want to move on to? Because I feel like I've been talking a lot, Jeremy.
No, it's fine. It's no big deal. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to go over, but I feel like it just seems like a lot, if that makes sense. Because certain things, like certain areas of the film, take a while, which is fine.
Yeah. Kurosawa definitely leaves in a lot of the dead air where nothing's really happening.
I would say that something is happening, but it's taking its time, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, for instance, like training montages take their time. Them scoping out the area to see where the enemy's going to be coming from, stuff like that. That takes a while. Even little things like when he was getting all that armor. That took a while, right? So things take a while. And then there's a 20-minute intermission, right?
Yeah. That's how long it is?
I don't know. I fast forwarded through it. It was a lot longer than I was expecting.
I wanted to time it, but I didn't. I forgot.
Yeah.
Intermission right in the middle of the movie, because this last half is where things start to really kind of
really kicking a high gear.
Because that's when we get the reveal of Rikichi, that his wife had been taken by bandits, and he tries to go back into one of the burning bandit camps that they burned down to save her, which is what causes our first samurai to die. And then we have the bandits actually showing up, and it just ramps up, and it's nonstop, because literally the final hour of the movie is them fighting the bandits.
I love the idea of them keeping track.
That was really cool.
Of the bandits, right? They have in circle form.
It's like
the number of them accounted for, and then they would just X them out.
It's like 36, right?
I don't know.
Well, because there's three. I'm gonna say it was probably maybe 20, 24.
Sure.
Because when they were finally down to the last 12, they'd already lost 2 of the samurai. Yeah. Man, it's just, you hate to see like all of our heroes that we've grown to love get picked off, kind of.
Yeah, and I think that's partly why things take so long, or things take their time. Kurosawa is having you spend time with these characters, right? Getting acquainted, and then loving most of these guys, right? And so when they die, it's so fast too. Right?
Yeah, because they die and then we got to move on.
Right, exactly. And so, of course, Toshiro's was the saddest one for me.
Well, again, he was the final one to die too.
Yeah.
Because we get Konbei's right-hand man. He dies first because he gets cut by one of the bandits who were fleeing the burning barn. And then the second one is... I'm going to be honest, I don't remember.
I don't either.
And then so they're down to 5. And then the next one is I think the wood chopper. Because he left his post, because Toshio left his post.
Yeah.
And he got shot by one of the muskets.
Yeah.
So now we're down to 4 in the final battle.
Yeah.
And then 5. No, I'm off.
You are off. That's okay.
No, okay, that's who our 2 is. That's who our 2. Yeah. Because then in the final battle we lose our stone face guy, and we lose Toshio, and he's the final death.
Yeah.
But he goes out. He kind of goes out on his own terms. He takes the bandit leader with him, which is, it made sense that he had to take one of them with him.
Yeah, of course.
But that's what ends the battle, and all 4 of them are buried. And
what's interesting?
What
is I read that that not one samurai died by gunshot. Even though they were muskets, right? They were muskets, but not one of them. Oh, wait, no. Yes. No. Hold on. Not one of them died by sword. Was that right? Shit.
Well, no, that makes sense because...
I think that was right. I think it was sword.
Toshiro gets shot.
Right.
The stone-faced samurai gets shot.
You're right. It was by sword. None of them died by sword because the other one would be an arrow.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think the first death actually, I think something falls on him, is what kills him.
And I think maybe Toshiro may have gotten swiped, but he's not a real samurai, so that's why that still works.
Yeah.
But yeah, none of the other ones died by... That's right. It wasn't gunfire. It was sword fight. None of them died by sword fight.
That's interesting, yeah, because, they're samurai.
Exactly.
You would expect they'd go out.
But no. No, not in this case.
Yeah, so... Okay, so let's talk about the ending real quick.
Sure.
Like I said, the ending has a cathartic ending because the samurais win.
They win, yeah.
The villagers are free from bandits, or at least maybe that gang of bandits.
Well, yeah.
But Konbei, so the sole survivors are Konbei,
the
kid, and then I can't remember his name. I think he was the fishing samurai. They're the only ones that survive. And Konbei is talking with the fishing samurai, and he's like, the victory, we lost too. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, the victory goes to them,
yeah,
not us.
Right.
Because he sees how much, I guess maybe I'm about to reach here, but he saw how much, pretty much death they brought. I guess. Maybe. I don't know.
Or I think of it as more, we were just here to help. Right? This wasn't our battle, it was their battle. Right? This is their...
Oh, okay, yeah.
We were here to assist, and that's what we did.
That's what we did,
So this wasn't our fight. We just helped.
Right. Okay, yeah.
We just helped, right? We just helped fight. Right.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah, and it's kind of chilling because you would think that you survived this 3-day battle.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, we won. But that's what makes Konbei such a great character, is that he knows, yeah, like you said, that this wasn't our win. This is theirs. And it's time for us to move on.
And that shot of them, the 3 of them, and then the hill.
With all 4 of their fallen
with the 4 on the top and then the villagers at the bottom. Amazing.
Oh yeah,
amazing shot.
Yeah, which brings me to this segue of, man, you know, if I didn't say it enough in our Rashomon episode, man, Kurosawa and his penchant for natural lighting, for just the film, just like Rashomon, is beautifully shot. You know, and I love that. Just like in Rashomon, he takes us into the forest.
Yeah.
That it's not just all like outside, and we're in. Just
I know. Yeah.
So gorgeous.
It looks phenomenal.
You know, and Rashomon was before this.
4 years before you.
Yeah, and you know, and this still looks just as good.
I know. Yeah.
You know, it's it's insane that this movie from 1954 is just so gorgeous.
I mean, and stood the test of time like no other, right? At the time, it was the most expensive film in Japanese filmmaking. It went 104 days over.
Oh shit!
Its shooting schedule, and it got so bad to where Toshido threatened Kurosawa with a gun because the shooting conditions was just so chaotic and so terrible. You know what I mean?
So
he was just over it.
So he was just like, we need to be done with this.
Or something. Yeah. It didn't go into detail. But, yeah.
Well, I mean, clearly that didn't spoil too much of a friendship there since he went on to do more of his movies.
Yeah.
But, that's wild. Yeah, because, if you heard about that happening in a movie now, you're like, oh, someone's getting canceled.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Or the movie just wouldn't be made at all.
Right.
You know, like, you've already gone over budget.
Well, yeah, exactly.
You've already taken too long. We've wasted too much money. We're done. And
in the final battle, the shooting had to be delayed a few times because they didn't have enough horses.
Really?
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping you were gonna say they didn't have enough water.
Oh, but no, there's plenty of water.
Yeah, it randomly rains out of nowhere, but still though, I wonder if Toshido looks back and was like, that was dumb of me. Why did I do that?
Nah, man, because this is one of the greatest films ever made.
No, I mean of him threatening Kurosawa.
Oh, I mean maybe.
I mean, like, should I have done that? Like, look at this.
You know, this is one of the greatest films ever made.
Yeah,
of all
absolutely.
Right?
Like it's.
And again, in being that one of the greatest films ever made, again, it's so shocking to me how entertaining it was.
Yeah,
I know, you know, I probably shouldn't have thought that, but I was expecting it to be a lot slower than it was.
I mean, it is slow, but it's not like, we're still.
Yeah, it's not like bone-shakingly slow.
Yeah, it's not. I'm trying to think of a movie Ashley and I watched that she said was slow. Our thing is when I told her about A Ghost Story and how slow it is.
Yeah. It's
and she was like, oh no.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of slow, but it's still slow, but it's a really good slow burn. And
yeah, it's not slow, it's taking its time. Those two things are different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Fleshing things out and being slow or you know, different concepts, because in this film he's fleshing things out and he's drawing things out, I think just to get a clear picture of the story, right? You know what I mean?
Well, and you know, and with a 3.5 hour long runtime,
they cut 50 minutes out of it for the American audiences.
Really?
I wonder what they cut.
So you mean in our Criterion version, that's the version they cut for American audiences?
No. That's the original.
Oh, that's the original. Holy shit!
Yeah.
So
they cut 50 out of that.
So it was only about 2.
It was over 2 hours, but it wasn't 3.5.
Holy shit, that's wild.
I know. Well, 2 hours and 40 minutes would make minus 50. Yeah.
So about as long as Citizen Kane?
Sure, but it's almost wondering, you know, what would they have cut? I would have cut the romance between the young kid and the daughter. Yeah, I could not be more uninterested.
Yeah,
and I complain about this a lot, I've realized, and about like having a love story
in the middle of a
movie. I couldn't be less interested in the love story between the kid and the daughter of that guy who's awful. Who cares? I think what. You know, it's meant to be, you know, he's he's young, right? Like he's fallen for this woman who he's not supposed to.
Yeah. Samurai, much like Jedi.
Oh my God.
Samurai have to be detached from emotions a little bit. I mean, they could feel emotions, but they have to be a little bit detached.
Yeah.
And this guy was like, nope.
Yeah, which means he still has a lot of learning to do in terms of being a samurai, which, is good that he survived at the end because he can continue to seek the guidance. Yeah.
Which I think is implied that he's still going to follow Kanbei and learn and
I would too.
Become a better samurai.
Of course.
And I love that, Kurosawa also doesn't give us any inkling of what is going to happen next.
Oh, what's next? Yeah, exactly.
The movie just ends, which is perfect. I don't want a little tease of what's going to happen next.
Movies back then tended to do that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, now, of course, every movie gives us a little tease. But
I was shocked we got a little epilogue at the end. I didn't think we were going to. That, the villagers are
celebrating.
Yeah, the celebrate. I was shocked we got that because I was like, okay,
battle's over.
They won. They said they won. We're done. Because usually a movie back then would have just ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when it faded to black, I go, there it is.
All right, there we go.
I started to get up. Oh.
Oh, we still have more.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, it was... I remember the first time watching it.
When was that, by the way?
I got it for Christmas. I want to say 2019. I want to say.
Yeah, 2319.
2319.
The Monster Inc. game.
And I was like, man, I'm going to have to watch this. And I want to say about a month or two later, after I got it, I was like, all right, here we go. Let's watch it. And I actually didn't know it was 3.5 hours long.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, here we go. Because we'd been doing the podcast for a while at that point. I was like, you know what? I want to start watching more foreign language films. Popped it in, and then I'm watching. I was like, man, this is how I learned it was 3.5. I was like, I wonder how much time I have left. And I clicked the runtime button, and I was like, oh, I still have 2 whole hours left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
But I mean, I still loved it. I mean, us doing this for so long has made me enjoy movies that are longer. I would be also willing to watch The Human Condition. Because, I remember I was telling Mom she'd seen The Batman yet, and she was like, no, how long is it? I was like, it's barely 3 hours long.
Yeah.
Barely. And she was like, oh, I'm going to have to dedicate some time. I was like, well... Jeremy and I wish it would have gone on for another hour.
I would have watched another hour.
But that's also because we didn't want it to end.
Honestly.
Sidebar
about the Batman. It's missing that 5 minutes. I think it would have been just fine to keep that.
The whole part with the Joker?
Yeah, to keep that in there.
I'm sorry, not the Joker, just Barry Keoghan. Unseen inmate. Movie's missing 5 minutes, and it's those 5 minutes. We'll talk about it off.
Fine. But yeah, with length, I remember once I popped in. I can't remember what movie it was, but I popped it in, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm excited to watch it. And I looked at the runtime and go, fuck, I don't have time for this.
Yeah,
I've done that before, and it's like, you gotta start checking those runtimes, man.
I know, but again, like we've been saying, yeah, it's 3.5 hours long, and yes, it's a very dense and very heavy, mainly in information, because they Kurosawa gives you a ton of information.
It is a lot of information. Again, it's not so much to where I'm realizing it.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, it's information I'm getting. It's expositional in a way, but because scenes take their time, because dialogue takes its time, because the story takes its time, it doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just really good. So if you made it this far, well, spoilers. But if you decided not to watch the movie to listen first, just know what you're getting into. 3.5 hours long, but
it's a commitment. But
it's a commitment.
It's not. Well, okay. To be honest, it's 3.
Well, yeah, minus the intermission.
3:10, maybe. I'm gonna say it's 20 minutes. It's
went on forever.
It's probably not that long, but films with intermissions, they
were only 5 minutes.
I just like it. I like when films have little intermissions. Gone with the Wind as an intermission.
Didn't they put a it was probably more for a joke. Didn't they put an intermission in Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
I think they did.
But I think it was more for a joke, wasn't it?
Never mind. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later.
All right. So, Jimmy, are you ready to wrap up?
I am. I loved it. I thought
Awesome.
it was amazing. Of course, I thought it was amazing. Kurosawa, got another one under my belt. Excited to discuss High and Low later on, Akira later on.
Absolutely. I gotta watch Throne of Blood.
Yeah,
at some
Throne of
point.
Blood ran. I need to watch that one too.
Yeah, because Throne of Blood is his take on Macbeth, and then I think Ran is his take on
King
Lear. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And I want to say Cage Musha is his take on another Shakespearean play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but
Fascinating. You know what I mean? Like,
and I love that he does this. That those movies are adaptations, but he's putting his own spin to it.
right. He's putting it where he is most comfortable and where he knows. Right.
Yeah.
Like he's setting it in, ancient Japan.
Yeah.
Duh. That's where that's where he's from. So why not?
Yeah, and also sidebar, shout out to the game Ghost of Tsushima. If anyone out there has played it, you know that you can put it in Kurosawa mode, which puts it in black and white.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and you can put it in traditional Japanese.
Oh.
So it's like you're playing
A Kurosawa
movie. It's so cool.
How fun is that?
Anyway, so Jeremy,
Yeah.
are you ready to know what we're talking about next week, which
Yeah.
you should know?
Yeah, go ahead and tell me. I'll pretend to be surprised.
So, last week, since we didn't know what we were going to do, next week is going to be Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. It's going to be so hard not to do that.
I know. Gotta get out of the way early.
So, our special guest is my mom. My mom loves Uncut Gems, and when I told her that it was on my list for this season, she was like, well, I have to be involved.
Saw it in the theater.
I haven't seen it at all.
I know you haven't. But saw it in the theater.
Did someone go, this isn't Jack and Jill?
Yeah, someone did that and then they left. And I was like, that movie's 8 years old, bud. And
Where have you been?
And no, I do think, I'm trying to remember, if I heard a guy audibly say something when Julia Fox showed her butt. I'm trying to remember.
Did he gasp?
I think so. I think, or I heard a guy go, or something. You know what I mean? So that made me laugh. But the movie's phenomenal, right?
Yeah. Mom very heavily says that Adam should have gotten an Oscar.
Yeah. Well, now he's he's in Hustle right now.
That looks awesome.
It does look great. And that's on Netflix.
I love that Adam does this, that he takes breaks from comedy. Punch Drunk Love is on my wish list to get, because again it's PTS or PTA. PTS is a guitar. PTA. And I actually listened to him on the A24 podcast with the Safdie brothers.
Oh, okay.
And they were talking about how Adam takes it seriously. That he knows he's in a drama and he's going to take it seriously.
Yeah.
That he doesn't try to, that it's a completely different Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
And Paul Thomas Anderson was like, he was like, I can't believe he even agreed to do Punch Drunk Love, but yeah, can't wait to talk about it.
Take an anxiety pill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've seen Good Time, but I've heard Uncut Gems is worse.
I don't know. I think they're about the same.
My buddy he doesn't listen. Porfirio, he was like, Rain, yeah, I couldn't breathe at all.
I mean, that's what they're so good at, and it's almost like the Safdie brothers have created a new genre
of drama,
of just anxiety. It's like anxiety dramas, I guess, or you know what I mean? Because they're so good at it. Good Time was a revelation. This
Absolutely.
one is.
And Criterion, please hurry up and give us a Good Time release.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah,
I would
really
love it if it's the bottle on the cover. I'd love that.
That would be really dope. Hey, Criterion, again.
Please sponsor us.
Again, I will say whatever you want. I will listen. If you
can you fly us out to New York so we can do an episode of In the Closet?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Criterion... Like, I will say...
I'm going to have to cut that out, right?
I will say whatever you want.
I'm going to have to cut that out.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, so Uncut Gems. So it may be next week, probably not, or we'll figure something out.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I'll let Mom know. I'll probably literally let her know as soon as we're done.
Cool.
But yeah, so everyone, we hope you enjoyed Seven Samurai.
We did.
And we will see you next time for Uncut Gems.